I didn't I didn't graduate from school, so
Okay.
I quit when I was quite young.
How old would you have been?
Sounds really young now, but I quit when I was in grade 7.
Welcome to You Belong, the podcast where stories come to life, hosted by Pastor Nate. In each episode, we'll learn that every name has a story, and every story matters to God. So let's journey together and discover the stories that unite us all. This is You Belong.
Well, I am so glad to have my friend Violet with me. And well, let's get right to it. Why don't you tell us where you came from and where did you go?
Well, let me see. I lived in Miramichi in Chatham, grew up in Chatham. Got married when I was 18.
18 right off the bat, eh? What was your husband's name?
Roland.
Roland, that's
Roland
right.
Matthews.
Roland, that's right.
Was he, I
Roland,
don't know
yes,
if he
Uncle
was here
Roland,
when
yes.
you were here or not.
I'm trying to remember now because I do.
Well, he passed away in 2021, so I don't know.
Yes, shortly after I got here. Yes, I do remember that.
Okay.
Yes, that's right, Roland. Very
Anyway,
good.
yeah. So then I have 3 children, 2 girls and a boy.
What's their names?
Paul is my son; he's the youngest, and Sandra is the middle one, and Beverly is the oldest.
Oh, very good. What was one of your favorite things that you did growing up? And on the Chatham side, not the Newcastle side. 'Cause
Oh
we know
no!
there's a little.
I didn't realize there was so much tension between
guess so.
Chatham and Newcastle.
Yeah.
I don't.
It wasn't
recall
like that growing up?
Not that I knew of,
Yeah.
but then I hear a lot of stories that it was. So, yeah. Used to look forward to going to the exhibition when it would come.
So fun.
But
Yeah.
the funny part of it is that we thought when we were kids that was huge, like it was so big. And then we moved away and we went to the Western Fair in London. And it's,
the Western
and
Fair.
it's huge,
Yeah.
right? So then when we come back for a holiday and we'd go to the exhibition, my husband and I would look at each other and say, wow, we thought this was big, and you could see the other end of it.
Oh my! What was your
was
favorite?
weird.
What was your favorite ride you would go on the exhibition? Did you have a favorite
Well,
ride?
not the roller coaster for sure.
No, eh?
No, I think it was the tubs. They used to have. It just looked like a tub.
Oh, did they spin around? Or
Yeah, it would spin around.
They make me sick. I can't do that.
Yeah, I can't now, but
I went on the. Do you remember? It was probably after that ride called the Zipper. It was like
I remember.
Remember the rip?
I
It was. I remember. I went on that
went
when
on
I
it.
was 11 or 12 with my sister. We cried so much they had to stop the ride.
Oh,
I was like,
play.
"Get me off this!" It was too crazy. But
Oh.
yeah, the exhibition. I love going to the exhibition with my family. It was
Yeah.
always fun.
Yeah.
But that's cool. The exhibition was always fun for you.
it's something we look forward to.
Yeah. What was there any like big hobbies you had growing up or anything like that?
I love to swing.
Like
we
on-
had a swing attached to a tree.
Did you ever jump off the swing? Did you ever do that a lot?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What was your biggest distance? Did you ever measure it?
Oh no, I don't know.
Didn't measure
I
it, eh?
don't know, but I love to swing, and we were in the country then, and
Okay.
I'd sing to myself, and
What were you
had the
singing?
birds for the.
What were you singing? Just whatever was in your head.
Just I can't remember now. Just
That'd be lots of fun.
whatever I knew then.
Yeah. Whatever you do then, very good. Did you get along with your siblings and stuff like that?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
all got along. There was 9 of us.
9.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well, at that time there was maybe 7 of us then, because 2 of them came later.
Okay.
But yeah, we all got along good. Played together, played hopscotch, marbles.
How do you play marbles? Like I
so
had
long.
marbles growing up, but I didn't realize it was an actual game till much later. Was there like a
Oh.
circle or something you got to flip?
Yeah,
them?
like you have a little hole in the ground,
Okay. Oh, okay.
and then you'd have what they used to call a plumper, like a bigger marble.
Yeah, the bigger
it's
one,
a
yeah.
plumper.
I never knew it had a name. It's called a plumper?
Yeah,
A plumper.
That's
okay.
what I remember.
Okay.
And then you would try to hit that plumper and get your marble into the hole.
Okay.
And usually there's maybe 4 or 5 of us playing it, so whoever would get them all in
Okay.
would be the winner. And I used to have a big tin of marbles. I just loved it.
Did you play for keeps? Was that a thing you
Oh,
would do?
yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Of course.
Oh, of course. Oh, so they must look different then. Would you have certain marbles that look different than like your brothers or your sisters? Is that kind of how it worked?
No,
or?
no, not really.
No?
No, just they were all the same, like different colors in the marble.
In the marbles, yeah.
But Yeah.
That'd be. I never knew it was an actual game till much later.
yeah.
Because I had a bag full of them. I was like, what do I do with these things? We'd always just throw them around, but that's fun.
Yeah.
Big plumper.
That was fun.
Did you guys ever do vacations at all with your family?
No.
No, you stood on
not really.
Yeah. It's a lot. Like, how would you get around? Like, did you have
We didn't have a car.
You didn't have a car, okay.
And, well, those are the stories you hear from older people. You walked to school from
Both
away
ways
in the
uphill.
country out to town, and
Yeah.
snowstorms they didn't close
They didn't
schools
care.
like they do today.
Well, how are they
for
going
a
to tell you?
storm.
Yeah, were you guys all like how close in age were you with your siblings? Like, were any of you the same?
I would have been in the middle. I would be in the middle
Okay.
of them, and
You're a middle child. The middle child syndrome. Oh,
Yeah.
man. So that means
know
you were
if that's
always
good or
on your
bad.
best behavior?
I don't know. You'll have to ask them.
I'll have to. What was your teachers like growing up? Do you have like a favorite teacher that you can remember?
Yeah, Mrs. Cameron that I remember.
There's a lot of Camerons
Mind
around
you,
here.
I didn't I didn't graduate from school, so
Okay.
I quit when I was quite young.
How old would you have been?
Well, it sounds really young now, but I quit when I was in grade 7.
Grade 7, you're just like, I'm done. This whole school thing at grade 7.
No.
So what caused you? You're just like, I'm just done. I'm gonna go
Well,
do.
I didn't like school for one thing, but we were quite poor and we didn't have a lot of stuff. We just
So what did you do after that? Then you didn't go to school. So you're grade 7. So
I
did
went
you?
to work at what we called a packing shed
Okay.
in Chatham.
Okay.
And what we would do there is label cans of clams and just put the labels on, clams and whatever else they had for fish at that time.
Okay.
A bunch of us girls, there'd probably be about 10 of us.
Come on.
And it
Were
was
you all
fun.
roughly the same age? Would you have been?
No, some of them would be a little older,
Okay.
but yeah.
What would they have paid you back in that time? You remember
Gosh,
back then?
not
I'm asking you all the tough questions. I'm
Yeah, not
very curious.
I'm sure it wasn't very much, but I honestly can't remember what
But
we got paid.
You enjoyed doing it though?
Oh, it did. It was fun for all us
Okay.
girls, you
Yeah.
know. And then we had a boss that he would let us open 1 or 2 cans of them, and then we just set it all in the
Just
middle.
eat your
and
clams while you're labeling all the cans. That's fun. That's an interesting
it's
thing.
different.
I'm thinking of some of the kids that I pastor being grade 7. That's a whole other world back then. I can't.
I look at a grade 7 today, and
You can't
oh, my
tie your
soul.
shoes, let alone put labels on these cans.
Yeah, I worked there for a couple of years. It was a seasonal thing too.
Okay.
So, but then I got a job at the 5 and 10. It was called then.
Is that like a corner store kind of thing?
Yeah,
or-
sort of like a smaller Walmart, like
Okay.
that type of a store.
So what did you do there?
I was a cashier.
Cashier, eh?
Yeah.
Like you were probably great? Like just in high school, probably by that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right
Yeah,
on.
well, yeah, I wasn't in school then. So,
Well, if you would have been, like you would
Yeah.
have been probably like, would you have been like 13, 14 probably?
well, yeah, 14, 15 maybe
14,
when
15.
I worked there.
Oh, yeah. So where would that have been over in Chatham?
Pardon?
Where would that have been located?
That's right on the main street,
Main Street, okay.
right where the dollar store is now, actually, in that
Oh,
same building
okay.
where the Canadian dollar store is.
It's called the 5 and 10?
It was called the 5 and 10.
So it's like things are $5 and $10. Is that kind of how it worked, roughly?
Roughly, maybe.
We used to have the dollar store. Now it's the dollar
Yeah.
or more store.
Oh, yeah.
they scam you.
Yeah, it's not $1 anymore.
Oh, that's cool. So then, where did you meet Roland? So like you're working your way up to
Well,
you
I
got married at
worked-
18. So how did you meet Roland?
I worked at that dollar store until I was married.
Okay.
So I met Rolly at a circus.
At a circus? Was he in the circus?
At the exhibition.
Was he in the circus?
He was there. He was actually on an airplane ride with another friend of mine.
Okay.
Which she knew me.
Oh no!
And we were...
You guys weren't fighting, were you? Taking this boy? You didn't take the
No,
boy from her,
no.
did you?
No, he asked her who I was, and then she introduced us.
And that's how it started on
That's how it
an
got
airplane
started.
at the exhibition. Do you ever think about moments like, because I love even thinking about things like that, like what if the exhibition wasn't there? Would you ever have met Rolly, do you think?
Not likely.
Not likely, eh?
Not likely, I don't think. He lived up in Red Bank at that time.
The Red Bank. What did he do growing up? What was his
Rolly
thing?
graduated from high school, and he was a teacher.
Okay.
He taught electrical,
Okay.
but he didn't like it.
No, okay.
No, he didn't care for teaching. He was very particular, and I think he just put too much. He didn't feel like he was doing a good enough job and that kind of
Okay.
thing. So anyway, at that point, he decided to move to Ontario.
Okay. Where in Ontario?
in London, Ontario.
London, Ontario. That's where you guys both moved there?
Yeah,
together?
1967,
1967.
centennial year.
Yeah. Okay. all
That's the
right.
year the bridge was finished.
That is right.
too, yeah.
That is true. That's true. So how long would you have been there for?
40 some years.
That's what you spent most of you would spend most of your marriage there then, eh?
Yeah. yeah.
40
We
years.
would
and
come
you-
home on holidays in the summer and stuff. I didn't mind being there. I didn't mind Ontario, but I was homesick for a long time. I loved, and we moved back in 2020. No, wait, no, 2012.
2012, okay.
We moved back.
What would have caused you to move back? You were just homesick?
Well, my
Like, it's been
husband
a long-
retired. Rolly
okay.
retired. He had his own business, One Way Electric.
Okay.
And that One Way Electric, I have to tell you where he got that name
Yes,
from.
tell me. Let's hear
He always
this.
said that the reason why he called it that was that there's only one way to do electrical,
That's true.
the right way,
The right way. Oh, I like that.
and there's only one way to heaven.
Oh, I like that
Yeah,
one.
that was his reasoning.
What what was his logo like? Did he create his logo, or did he have someone? Did he have a logo, or was it just like One Way Electric?
Just One Way Electric.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Did he have people working for him? Was he by himself, kind of doing his thing?
He was more or less by himself, but he
Okay.
always had a helper here and there. Like he'd hire a couple of young fellas, and
I
he
know.
done very well. Like he liked it.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
How long did he do that for?
Well, when we first moved up, he worked for other companies, electrical companies, for the first few years, and so he would have been doing it for 20 years at
Okay.
least.
Yeah, that's one profession that will never go out. You know, you'll always
That's right.
you'll always need an electrician, no matter.
Yeah.
Even with the advent of so much technology, you still need someone
Yeah.
who's going to wire it all up for you and stuff.
Exactly, that's true.
So that's fun. So after 40 years in Ontario,
Yeah.
it was quite different than Miramichi, I would assume. From
Oh,
where,
yes, of course, yeah.
And then he came back here. And where did you guys move to over here in Miramichi?
We-
Chatham side, or were you over?
No, Newcastle.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where I live now, in the Legion, the old Legion building.
The old Legion Mill. Okay, very cool.
We moved there in 2012. We moved back, so
What was your favorite memory of you and Rolly as you guys? Because how long were you married for before he passed?
60 years.
60 years. Man, oh man, oh man. Could you even narrow it down to one or two things that was like your favorite highlight? Maybe it was a trip you did, or was it just a moment?
Well, we had our trip to Hawaii,
Okay.
which was 25th anniversary, and it was great.
What did you do? Did you do surfing or anything like that?
No surfing.
No, Rolly wasn't a surfer?
Oh, no.
You're not a surfer?
No.
You weren't a surfer either?
No.
What were the beaches like? Were they like, I just
Beautiful.
picture them being beautiful.
We didn't spend a lot of time on the beaches, but we were there once in a while. And then we had my son-in-law loaned us a convertible to drive in when we were there. That
Did you
was
have
fun.
long blonde hair back
yeah.
then? Just let the wind flow through
Yeah,
your
right.
hair. That'd be fun. What color was the convertible?
I think it was red.
Red one, a red convertible. Very nice. And you just drove around
He
the
rented
island?
it, like he had rented it.
Okay.
So
And you drove
wasn't
around the
his.
island, did you? Is that-
Yeah, we drove around some, Hawaii, and, Honolulu, and
I hope to go there someday.
yeah.
We've done a lot of traveling in the past, but Hawaii is like our
you'd
next
love
thing I
it.
want to do.
Yeah.
Is it a long flight from?
Yes, it was a long flight. Like we flew from London, Ontario to, I think it was San Francisco that we
Okay.
met our son-in-law there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got on in San Francisco. I think it was probably, 10-hour flight or 8 or
It'd be
9,
enough.
10-hour
it'd be
flight
enough
for
to-
sure.
You're not flying from here to Halifax.
No, no.
Well, that's cool. That's a really awesome memory to cherish. Did you take pictures back then? Would you have some Polaroids or
You
anything
know
like
what?
that?
I didn't.
No way. So how do I know you went there? What's the proof?
You just have to take my word.
I
for
take your word for it. Oh, that's fun. So that's cool. You came back to Miramichi. You're up there for 40 years. So what did it look like coming here to the Point Church? Like, how did you land on? Because this would have been the Point Church when you came. Would have been
it. No, it
Newcastle
was
United Baptist
Newcastle
Church.
Baptist Church.
So how did that?
Well,
Did
we
you grow
were
up Baptist
looking
or?
for a church to go to when
Okay.
we moved back, and so we had heard that they were looking for a pastor here, and we decided they heard there was a meeting, so we decided to go,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were sitting there waiting for whoever, and in walks this guy, and Rolly says, "That looks like heaven." And I couldn't see real good from that distance. I said, "Oh, I don't think so." And then his wife walks in. I said, "Oh my land, it is them."
Oh, that's fun.
So
And you had
they-
you had no idea it was gonna be Kevin.
No idea.
Oh, that's. Did you
And-
vote yet? Did you probably vote no, didn't you?
Well, we couldn't vote
Oh, you
because
couldn't
we
vote.
weren't members.
That's probably good.
But he got voted in 99%. And
Yeah.
he often says his mother was the one that voted against him.
Listen, I only got to know her for, I think, just a year, I think, before she
Yeah.
passed away. And she
Yeah.
was a
had
lovely woman.
she had a
seemed,
sense of humor.
She had a very
sense
a
of-
very dry sense of humor. And so, like, Kevin's dad would have been, what was his name?
Rodney.
Rodney. And would have been your husband's brother?
Yes.
What
yeah.
were they like together? Were they were they similar?
Well, Rose, she was my cousin as well as my sister-in-law,
Oh, okay.
actually. So.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, she was a worrier,
Okay.
like worried about a lot of stuff, and he wasn't. Like
He wasn't, he
Rodney
just
was
didn't care.
so
He's like,
laid
whatever.
back.
Okay.
Oh, so laid
Did
back.
that drive her crazy?
Drove her crazy.
bet.
He'd left her behind different places when she'd drop her off or something and forget all about her.
Stop
She would
it.
tell stories about
He would just
that.
leave her there. He forgot.
And yeah,
Just dropped her off.
yeah.
What was he like? Because what was Rolly like compared to Rodney? Were they quite similar in
not at
age,
all.
personality, or
Not at all.
okay,
Rolly was very high strung and hyper,
okay,
whereas Rodney was very laid back, like totally
laid back.
totally opposite.
Okay, that's always fun when you meet people like siblings like that and stuff.
Yeah.
Who would have been older, Rodney or Rolly?
I think Rodney was older, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I never got a chance to meet because he passed away quite young, wasn't it? Because
Rodney was only 59.
Yeah, okay,
He
yeah.
took cancer. Yeah.
I always heard great stories from
He had
Pastor
such
Kevin.
a dry
and-
sense of humor. The kids loved him because he was so funny. Like he had a funny way about him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And so you came. You're surprised to see Kevin, and you didn't vote yes or no because you couldn't. But and then you've been here ever since, right? And so you've made some interesting contact, like some friends here too.
Oh,
I think,
yes,
yeah,
lots of friends.
which is really cool.
Yeah, it's been great.
Has there ever been like along your journey? Has there ever been like a really cool faith story that you're like, man, God really showed up here, or did you?
Yeah, when we were here, before we moved away, I had grown up in Pentecostal. I'd grown up in the Pentecostal church, and I never really found I had a relationship with the Lord. It was just going to church and doing whatever you're supposed to do at the time. But when we moved to Ontario, we went to a Baptist church there, and there was just one weekday that I just felt a real need. I needed the Lord, and I remember getting on my knees and asking God's forgiveness and accepted Him as my Savior. And the funny thing is, I can remember I'd actually wrote a letter home to my mom, and I'd said what I'd done, and I said, it's so funny because when I went out that afternoon, everything looked so bright. The sky looked bright blue, and the green grass, everything looked just different.
That's so cool to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really neat.
How old did you say you would have been around that time?
Well, I would have been in my 20s.
Your 20s, yeah.
28, 29.
And you obviously physically saw things differently.
It was just a...
But was there like you could just feel inside like God's already working in your life?
Oh,
and stuff?
definitely.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, over the years.
Where would Rolly have been in that time? Did he have a faith at that point? Or?
Was saved when he was a teenager.
Okay.
He went to a Baptist church up in Whitneyville, or up in Sillikers, actually. And he was saved when he was a teenager, but just kind of got away from things. And so, but when we moved to Ontario, I think the reason why we started going to church there is we felt we wanted the girls to get, have some kind of a church.
That seems to be the case a lot of times.
Yeah.
You find people coming back to church like,
Yeah.
I've got kids of my own. I
Yes.
learned some growing up. I wanted them to have the same
So
kind
we
of.
had an invitation put in our mailbox or something from this Baptist church.
Oh,
So
cool.
we decided to try it. We started out just taking them to Sunday school.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. That's so good. I love hearing stories like that, where God just meets you and changes your life, right? And
Yeah.
it never has to be this crazy, dramatic,
no.
life-changing experience. But like you definitely felt some of the Spirit coming.
Definitely.
You know what? I'm here.
God has been
That's
good.
really cool. Where do you see yourself going now? Like you're home back in Miramichi, and you're chilling, and you're just like, do you see yourself any big changes happening in your life anytime soon? Or you're just like, things are going good.
Well, things are going good, but I kind of feel like I need a change too.
Okay.
Like just not sure what.
Don't sure what, but
Not sure what.
you feel something in there, eh?
Yeah.
Is there like a passion that you're kind of like, you know what, I want to follow that passion of,
I don't know.
don't know, but there's something there. I think that's one of the things we sometimes we forget about, like, no matter who you are, where you're at, where you're at in your age, like, God's not done with you yet. You know what I mean? He still has something he wants to do in you and through you. And I love that about God. As long as we're here on this earth, we have no excuse. We just have to be open. God, what do you want me to do? You know what I mean? Like, he's given you a story. He's given me a story. He's given us all life experience. And how can we use that for God's glory? So
That's true.
yeah. Well, that's so good. Listen, thank you so much for just sitting down and having a conversation. This is why I love this podcast more than anything, is just being able to take the time and just to get to know you that much more and hear your story, and to remind everybody who's watching and listening that every name has a story and every story matters to God.
Thank you.